What's going on, guys? Good morning and welcome to another video. Today I want to be talking to you guys about the ASVAB. Everything you need to know, everything I wish I would have known. Just a little bit overall about my experience with taking the ASVAB. A quick backstory: I've taken the ASVAB a total of 3 times. The reason why is because, again, I'm 20 years old. I've been out of high school for 2 years, and I took the ASVAB twice in high school. First time I took it was my junior year. Most high schools should offer the ASVAB for free. Mine did. It's pretty sweet. If yours does and you're currently thinking about getting into the military, go ahead and take it. It's gonna save you money, it's gonna save you time. Just best for you. Now, if your high school does not offer the ASVAB, then I'm sorry. You must go to a pretty small high school. Most high schools do, but it's nothing that a quick Google search won't fix. So I took the ASVAB the first time was my junior year of high school, and I had no idea what it was. I had never taken it before. By the way, the ASVAB stands for the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. All in all, it's basically a really fancy name for a placement test, because that's mostly what it is. It's a test to test where you are currently at, where you currently stand with the military standards, where you would best fit, what you're good at, what you're not so good at, that kind of thing. So that being said, I took the ASVAB a total of 3 times. First time was my junior year in high school. I was 16 at the time, maybe 17. Again, I had no idea what the ASVAB was. I didn't really care about what it was. I just took it because I was in JROTC, and I figured, why not? I took it, I bombed it. I only got a 44, to be honest, which is really low. Back in that time, I was looking into getting into the Army, so they told me, yeah, if you join with that, you're gonna be an 11 Bravo, which is infantry. I didn't want that, so I did with that information what I could. Flash forward about a year later, it was, I think, October or November of 2016. I was about 18 years old. It was my senior year. Took the ASVAB again. People told me to study. I honestly didn't study, or at least probably not to the extent that they were trying to get me to. I just went online, started looking at some of the sample questions on like military websites, that sort of thing. But I never really dedicated sole time, like 15 minutes, half an hour, that sort of thing, to studying. I would just do it randomly for honestly probably less than 5-minute increments. Took the ASVAB again that year, my senior year, and something I did differently is I took my time. I realized that the first time I took the ASVAB, it was very rushed. This time, by the way, usually takes anybody about 3 to maybe 4 hours to complete. First time I took it, I completed it in like 2.5-ish, which is kind of quick considering there's 8 parts and like 40 to 60 questions a piece. I took my time the second time. Scores came back. I scored higher. I ended up scoring a 60. That was cool. My sergeant majors in ROTC told me that the managing number was 50. Once you get above 50 is when, more opportunities for bonuses, that sort of thing. But that wasn't it. Flash forward to a couple months ago, I went and I talked to my recruiter and showed him my scores, because I still had the paper. I actually still have those papers from when I scored a 60. And he said, hey, this is great and all, but your scores are expired. I had completely forgotten about the fact that after 2 years of when you take your ASVAB test, your scores do expire. So keep that in mind. Your scores are only considered valid for 2 years. So he set me up to take the ASVAB again. He had me take the PICAT, which is like a practice ASVAB, and I think I sucked on that, to be honest. I don't remember what I scored on the PICAT. It was like 50 something maybe. I was worried. I said, man, that sucks. Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem too hot, Told me it's cool. We can schedule your ASVAB for this week or for some weeks in the future. I said, give me 2 weeks. And he said, all right, schedule me for 2 weeks out. I kind of studied for those 2 weeks. I kind of did the same thing I did the second time, where I was going online, looking at a bunch of practice tests, and that's about it. Went to take the ASVAB at MEPs, because that's where you take the ASVAB. Usually it's at MEPs or at METs. military entrance testing center, I guess. Testing station, I don't know. But yeah, I went to MEPs and took the ASVAB there. Was I worried? Oh yeah, definitely worried, because this was it. I knew at this point that I really wanted to get into the Air Force, and that the ASVAB would ultimately either set me up or disqualify me from most jobs, because that's exactly what it does. Not just for me, but for anybody that's looking into getting into any branch of service. Your ASVAB scores play a critical role in what you can and cannot do. Obviously there's more to it. There's physical things, there's mental things, there's things with your record, health records, public records, criminal records that can qualify or disqualify you from that as well. Age, I believe, is one of them too. Height, weight, all that stuff. But at that moment, for me, the ASVAB was the biggest thing. So yeah, I was kind of nervous because this was going to be the last time I was going to be able to take the ASVAB. So I went, I took it at MEPs. It was pretty cool. At MEPs, they had these really big headphones that were just really big over your ears, muffled out any noise. It was pretty cool. They were really strict about how you could take the test. If you were caught writing anything other than on your scratch paper, you get kicked out. If you were caught doing anything on the computer that was not on the actual MEPS or ASVAB like website or whatever it was, you get kicked out. If you're caught talking to anybody other than the ASVAB instructor, you're gonna get kicked out. It's a very, very strict process. I thought it was strict in high school. No, at MEPS it was a lot different. So I took the ASVAB, took my time again like I had done the second time I had taken it, and I felt really good. I think I paid more attention to the questions themselves. I read everything a lot more thoroughly, took my time, actually read every single answer before I chose one of them. Because I don't know about you guys, but usually if I find an answer that I think is right, I won't even read the other 2 or 3 answers. I'll just choose that one because I think it's right, which is kind of dumb to do, especially in the ASVAB. So I went ahead and did that. Now what's cool about the ASVAB at MEPS is that they give you your scores right away. All the other ASVABs that you take in high school, you have to wait for them to send the answers back to your high school. Usually a couple months, about 2 months, maybe 6 weeks at the very earliest. But at MEPS, we got them right away. And I was really nervous. They give you them in a sealed envelope and they say, hey, go talk to your recruiter. And that's it. Now it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to be honest and take the envelope sealed to your recruiter. You probably should. One thing you should get into the habit of in the military is always do as told. Don't stir away from what you're told to do. But yeah, I grabbed my envelope. I was nervous. I was like, man, this is gonna suck. I probably bombed this. But it was just nerve-wracking, you know, because I knew that this was it. My answers back to my recruiter, handed him the envelope, and he's like, how do you think you did? I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. It felt pretty good, but, you know, it's just a feeling. I'm not sure. He opened up the envelope, and he did one of these. He said, oh, man. And I said, oh, man. I said, if he did that, then, man, I must have freaking bombed this. And he looked at me, and he said, good job. And I said, wait, what? And he said, yeah, good job. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you freaking killed it, man. Literally in those words, he said, you freaking killed it. And I said, what? And he told me, you got a 78. And I was blown away. A 78, to some it might not seem like a lot, but to me that was huge. That was like, whoa. Because again, I took it 3 times. First time I took it, I got a 44, which was like, yeah, not too good. Second time I took it, got a 60, which was all right. But this third time, a 78, I was proud. Considering the highest you can score is a 99, I was proud. And it's all based off of percentage, you know. It's 78 means that I was within the top 22% of people that take the test. I was above 78% of people that take the ASVAB. So yeah, I was pretty proud. And he said this opens you up to basically any job that you would like in the Air Force. And I was happy. He gave me this list, long list of jobs. It was like 4 or 5 pages long of different jobs that I could choose, and ultimately ended up choosing my 9 and an aptitude area, because you have to do that, and putting on my list. And I took time to research them. It was pretty sweet. Yeah, I was happy. So for the ASVAB, get a good night's sleep. Definitely eat something. There's nothing worse than testing and just having that feeling of hunger. The only thing you can think about is food when you should be thinking about the test. You know, it's not a good look. Sleep well. Empty your mind, really. I don't mean to get all Bruce Lee on this, but seriously, like, clear your mind. Don't worry about anything else. In that moment, for those 3-4 hours that you're taking the test, your entire world should be that test. Your entire mindset should not stir away from anything but what you are reading, what you are studying, or what you are answering. Something I think that really helped me is I'm a really curious person. Just by nature, I see stuff, and if I don't understand the way that it works, I ask questions. I look at it. I look it up. I Google stuff, and in some of the areas, like, again, there's 8 areas. It's like from math, English comprehension, word knowledge, arithmetic, reasoning, which is like problem solving, electrical, bunch of stuff like shop. And me, I've never been in electrical like work, but that was my highest scoring segment. I think I scored like an 86 on electrical alone, which was nuts to me, because again, I've never done any electrical work. The only construction work I've ever done is with my dad. I've done drywall, framing, a little bit of siding, and some roofing. So when they were asking about like certain tools, like some of those were familiar, so I answered that. And then from the electrical aspect, just from like seeing stuff online, like, how does this work? How does an AC work? What does AC stand for? Hopefully people know what that stands for. That kind of thing, things about cars, auto mechanics. That was one section too. I've never been a mechanic, but whenever I get my car fixed, I like to ask the mechanic. And that's another thing I learned from my dad is, what was wrong with the car? What did you change? How does that piece work? Or why did you have to change that piece? How did it break? That sort of thing. And if he doesn't explain it well enough to me, I'll look it up online. And I'll watch those like videos, like step by step, of like, oh, they're changing this because it runs off of this. There was something about like the speedometer that was like normal cars do how many revolutions per minute on the average idling engine or something like that. And it was 2,000. And I know that not even from looking stuff up online, but from driving, from paying attention to my dashboard and looking at what my revolutions are, or RPM as it said on the ASVAB. So overall, as you guys have seen from this video, I took the ASVAB 3 times, and every single time I scored higher. And it's not like I went like I didn't go crazy with the studying. Like I said, all my studying was online. I would go to military websites, do, I don't know, at max like 5 practice questions, and then I'd leave. And I do that a couple times a week. Like I said, the little segments of studying were less than 5 minutes a piece. But I feel like overall, not only your how old you are has an effect on how well you do, but because the older you are, the more you learn. There's stuff that you'll come back to that you'll be like, oh, I remember taking that last time, if you've taken the ASVAB multiple times. And you'll be like, now I understand it. Where did you learn it? Who knows? You might know, you might not, but you'll know it. And it's kind of nuts. That's how it was with me. Because obviously, I took it 4 times. First time it was 44, and the last time was 78. That's a 33-point difference. And I think 33 points is like the minimum you need to even qualify to enter any of the services. It might be 31, but that's still a big difference, over the span of what? Less than 3 years, honestly. About 2 years and 4 months. That's nuts. That's about all I have to say about the ASVAB. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Give this video a like. Give this video a like. Share it if you want to. Subscribe. All that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.